we're going to start up with a little bit information about the NOW Accelerator program for those of you that haven't heard what that is all about. Then we're going to hear from Helge about Seaway7, and there's also going to be the introduction to their innovation challenge. And then after, we're going to hear about the process of the challenge by Vasuku. So that is the agenda for today. As I mentioned, for those of you that just entered, this will be recorded, so we will be able to send this video to you later after we've done. And you will also get the link and access to the Vasuku platform so that you can register it there. You will also read everything about this challenge on the Vasuku platform. So for any other further information, you will find it there. Like I said, we're going to start now by presenting the Accelerator program. NOW Accelerator was actually born through Norwegian Offshore Wind, the cluster. I think many of you have already heard of the cluster and maybe are part of the cluster. And one of the key elements in this cluster is the MET Center, which is our testing facility. It has been very exclusive for the big developers, but we're now working on making it a little bit more accessible for the new potential projects that will be set out. So we have 5 more floating wind projects that will be sent out, and they're going to be other new testing opportunities that we're working on. When it comes to the services that Norwegian Offshore Wind offer,
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Your slides aren't moving. I think you're sharing the wrong screen. Sorry to interrupt.
Can you see it now?
Yes, but it's not in presentation mode.
Yeah, I know. So I think it's something to do with the cache on my computer. So I will just show it like this, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the cluster has more than 400 members. Around 10% of the members are international. And we're going to have, a lot of the focus on the cluster is the events that we have. And one of the big events that we're going to come back to is the Floating Wind Days, which is posted up on here as well, which will be 29th and 30th of May. And we're going to have this year a big setup for the startups and scale-ups that has been invited. And if you join this challenge and manage to get into the final 3, you will be able to also promote or present at Floating Wind Days. And if you win, you will be on the main stage presenting your solution. So it could be a very good promotion for you. I mentioned Met Center, which is part of the Norwegian Offshore Wind. And then last year, 14th of December, we had a soft kickoff with NOW Accelerator. And 14th of March this year, we had our first kickoff with O Energy and Choreo as the first challenge, which is still going on and will be done within next week for the first pitches that's been sent into that one. We had a kickoff with Ørsted yesterday, and today we're so happy to have Seaway7 with us to present their challenge. So the focus on the accelerator is the challenges and also the scale-ups and startups that go directly to enter the program, and it's basically matchmaking with our industry partners. And the last point here is Visit Now, which is basically a connection to 15 other countries that we do have the same setup. They have a similar cluster in those countries. We have selected trips where we invite both industry partners and scale-ups and startups. So if you are part of the program, you will get invitations for these types of events, meetings. I'm also attending a lot of these events where you have fundraising, investors. So if you're part of the program, you will also get that type of connections. When it comes to the main focus of the accelerator program is to become an innovation and a test center and to make you with the best industry partners that we're working close with. And today we have 11 partners, and all of them are running these challenges, and they are helping us facilitating this. So today, the main focus is going to be Seaway7, and the challenge is going to be about advancing mooring and dynamic cable infrastructure. Last, I would just want to quickly explain how the setup is for the accelerator program. Is basically I've been working closely with each and every industry partner. We define problem statements, and we also select the scale-ups that has been applying directly to the innovation program. And then there's a selection process. When you get accepted, you will be able to participate and get all the information that we do when it comes to the events, and also the partner meetings and so on that we will follow up with. And this is one of the challenges, like I mentioned, and we're aiming to do 10 challenges this year. So there are going to be actually 3 or 4 more challenges launched on the 29th of May at Floating Wind Days in Haugesund. And of course, like I mentioned, we also work and are connected to investors and so on. And you will have the possibility of connecting if you do fundraising. So that's part of the service we're offering. Obviously, the main goal is to find a good match between what you're offering and between the industry partners that wants to solve something, just like Seaway7 is doing today. And the goal is to end up with running a potential test pilot together with them, getting mentorships and getting support moving forward after, if you win the challenge and you're the perfect match with them. And lastly, like I said, we do have this big event, 29th to 30th of May. If you're not attending, please go into Norwegian Offshore Wind and take a look at this event. It would be very, very nice to have you with us in this event, because we're going to focus a lot on the collaboration and getting to know each other better. And there's going to be a lot of possibility for you to connect with our main industry partners at this event. So that's basically what I want to say. Sorry, I can show this in a good presenter mode, but I think Helge is probably a little bit more professional than me. So I'll hand over the word to you, Helge, to present Seaway7 and the challenge.
Okay, thank you. We'll get the answer to that in a very few seconds. See if I can share my screen. There you go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit on Seaway7 and how that fits into the Subsea7 group and who we are, and then mention more about the challenge. So, in Seaway7, we are today one of the tier 1 players out there in the supplier market in the offshore wind project. And we are a pure play renewables company focused on offshore wind, bottom fixed and as well as floating. And we've actually contributed to more than 11 gigawatts of fixed offshore wind to date. And the Subsea7 is 100% shareholder of the company, and we have annual revenue of around $1 billion, so quite significant. This is sort of showing our world within the wider group in Subsea7. We're operating within all elements of the energy transition or the energy industry offshore, both looking into hydrogen and then bottom fixed as floating. As I said, it's within the Seaway7 company, which is also where we are running this challenge. And then we're also looking at CCS and lower carbon oil and gas, which is through our Subsea7 arm, where we're a tier 1 player within the SURF segment, so the subsea umbilicals, risers, and flow lines. In offshore wind, I think our journey started in 2009 when we had the first offshore wind project. Since that, it's sort of been going back to back with up until where we are today with fleet of purpose-built vessels for installation of both inter-array cables, but also lifting and installation of foundations and doing large EPCI contracts like Seagreen project, for instance, which we delivered last year, which is 114 jackets delivered and installed together with inter-array cables in the UK. And complementing Seaway7, we have also a couple of fully owned companies like Exodus, which is origination and consenting kind of company, which comes in the early phases. They have supported more than 16 gigawatts out of the successful ScotWind lease bids to date. We've also have a minority stake in the Salamander development together with Ørsted and Simply Blue. And in floating, we have a share in the Nautilus technology. That doesn't mean we are necessarily linked to that. We are agnostic and open to work with any type of floater, but we have a majority share in this one. And then running projects, it's both Seaway7 and it's, as you see here, 4Subsea as well, which is delivering digital solutions, but also very good on the floating side, where they're delivering coupled analysis of floaters, moorings, cables, and been a key part of developing the Spark concept together with Equinor, for instance, and many others. And worth saying as well, we've delivered 11 gigawatts to date, as I said, and we have a target of achieving 30 gigawatts of installed capacity by 2030. I think what sort of makes us a bit special compared to our competitors is these two main building blocks, which is having been 14 years in bottom fixed wind with Seaway. We've been doing serial fabrication of the wind turbine foundations. We've installed more than 1,000, so including monopiles and jackets. Installed a lot of substations and significant scope on the thousands of kilometers of inter-array cables for bottom fixed wind. Combining that with our 40 years plus of doing complex floating systems within the oil and gas industry. Seeing some examples here, doing tow out in Norway of the Ørsted platform and one of the pictures. Another one is a big mid-water arch structure down in Brazil, and we've sort of been doing more than 90 of these type of project towing and mooring projects around the globe, combined with a lot of dynamic products, either it's umbilicals, risers, or power cables. And on floating wind, we have supported the Hywind projects for Equinor, both Hywind Scotland and Hywind Tampen on the power cable installation. So with those two building blocks, we think we are well suited also to be a major player within the floating offshore wind market when that kicks off. But then a bit to our challenge. We wanted to tune the challenge towards what we believe is the next frontier in offshore wind, which is floating offshore wind, and focus it not only on the floater, but around the dynamic system, so the station keeping system or mooring system, if you want, and the dynamic cable systems, where we also see significant challenges that needs to be resolved. Some of it being, high offsets on, especially where if you see the three concepts here, the steel semi-sub and the spar, they both share very similar mooring systems, which are leading to high offsets in poor weather, which again drives you to having a complex wave configurations on your cable to tackle, basically for the cable to survive the large offsets in storm conditions. And also within both the mooring and the cable, there is a lot of bespoke ancillaries, as we call it, as smaller items like buoyancies and clamps and all of these things that, to quote Mr. Elon Musk, has a high idiot factor, meaning that there's a very big gap between the material cost for the component and the actual cost of the product. They are relying on a lot of either forgings or machining or bespoke manufacturing that is driving the unit cost higher than it is, for instance, for industrialized components like chains fabrication. And also dimensions. So we see there's a push to go to fewer mooring lines, which is driving the component sizes of chains and moorings and anchors up, and in many cases going beyond the capabilities of existing fleet today when it comes to installation. So that's key challenges we see. So, and here I just tried to list all the components that actually goes into just the dynamic section of the cable and the mooring, which is quite a lot. And I think the message is we are interested in any, whether it's a big change to how you look at the mooring layout or whether it's one of those small components. It's all of those things together that needs to work together to bring the overall simplicity to where we need and bring the costs down. So just within the cable, there's cable protection, which could be both mechanical protection, but also, adjusting the properties of the cable in certain section and stiffness. There's cable connectors. I mean, today there's no qualified connector for subsea connection, for instance, although there's things in development. There's all of these buoyancy elements, which aren't necessarily made to be serial manufactured or installed in a quick and efficient manner or going over the stern of a cable layer. So things to be looked at there. And today, this tethered wave needs a tether to connect it to the seabed and an anchor, which also involves clamps and so on. Again, bespoke items that are high cost today and takes a lot of time as well to put in place. There's, in many cases, need for a bend stiffener where the cable is entering the floater. Another item that's today quite costly. And how do you hang the cable off on the top side? Again, things you could look at there. Clamps on the cable, both for the buoyancies, but also for the hold down. And another one I listed here is weak links. In case of an accidental break of a mooring line, for instance, you want to have control of where the actual cable breakage is, and there's a requirement to put weak links in the system, or at least discussions around that. That's another thing that's sort of, there's no common solution in the market. And then on mooring, again, there's the fiber rope or the tethers. If you have a TLP, it would be tethers, also potentially being fiber. There's the mooring chain, which today is quite industrialized manufacturing already, but there's a lot of bespoke items like the tensioners. Where do you place them? How should they look? How do you make them more efficient than today? There's anchors. There's the conventional methods, but again, none of the pile solutions, drag anchors or suction anchors or so on, also are industrialized and necessarily optimized for industry like the offshore wind industry. There's all the connectors along the mooring line. There's talk about load reduction devices that could make the load in the mooring line lower and potentially give you savings on the component sizes. That's how do you connect the mooring line doing the hookup if you pre-laid it. Pull-through connector mentioned here could also be other types. And again, like for the cables, mechanical protection. What is needed and how do you protect your fiber rope? Because that is a sensitive piece of equipment. And again, just also from our view, when we do the installation today, smart installation aids for cables or for moorings, or just how do you serial manufacture any of these components to bring down the costs, methods for that, or any of these that could help us to bring down the cost of the overall mooring or dynamic cable sections is what we are looking after in this challenge. So yeah, I think that's what I had to say about the challenge. And then the team from our side working on it, I'd like to present as well. It will be myself, and then let the word to my colleague Håkon and Anthony. Håkon, if you go.
Yeah, hello, my name is Håkon Westrum. I'm working with Helge here from the Forus office. I am looking after the technical strategy here in Norway with special focus within energy transition, including floating wind. We have been looking at those challenges internally, both components, methodology and systems, but still we don't think we have found all the smart solutions, and that is why we are trying to get out there and try to find some smart solution for us. So happy to be on board and hope to work together with some of you going forward. Anthony?
Yeah, hello everyone. So Anthony Paulet, I'm within Seaway7 and I'm in charge of our technical program for floating wind. So working with all our regions in our key countries. And through that technical program, we are dealing with everything that relates to the scope of work we may deal with. So obviously mooring and cable, but that can be also beyond that about the floaters. And from the design to the installation, going through the fabrication and transportation. So very glad to have this challenge being issued, and looking forward to what can be proposed to address this. One word maybe to add to what you just presented, Helge. I think effectively you see the complexity of it, and so the inherent challenges associated to that, the volumes, the loads, etc. And so beside that, that means there is also some reliability topic. So we need to be innovative to address the serial aspect, still being reliable. So not introducing new risk, which are worse than the issue. So that's a good challenge in itself.
Thanks, Anthony. And that takes me over to I guess evaluation criteria we could mention as well, which where reliability, will be one of them, but also the feasibility and development timeline for the technologies, depending on the complexity and the extent of the technology. But I guess all in all, we are interested in everything from an ID to TRL 1 to 9, depending on where it fits in. But I think the timeline and the feasibility and the redundancy and what they open of opportunities will be part of our evaluation criteria when we assess these different solutions.
Very good. Thank you so much, Helge, Anthony, and Håkon. If it's okay for you guys, maybe we could do some questions at the end. Is that okay, Helge? Or
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So first, I want to introduce Rosalind from Vasuku that will present how you can join the platform and how you can put in your pitch for this challenge. So I give the word to you, Rosalind.
Thanks, Narvi. Hi, everyone. As Narvi mentioned, my name is Rosalind Uli, and I'm an innovation consultant here at Vasuku. As was mentioned earlier on in this session today, Norwegian Offshore Wind and Wazoku have partnered to create Norwegian Offshore Wind's Accelerator community platforms where startups, SMEs and industry partners can collaborate to develop the offshore wind industry seamlessly. So Wazoku will be powering this Open Innovation Challenge on our platform, and we have solved over 2,500 challenges just like this one. So we are really, really excited to kick this off with Seaway7. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can join the NOW Accelerator community platform and participate in this latest challenge with Seaway7. So I've already placed a link into the chat, which will enable all of you to land straight on this homepage. And on the homepage, you'll have the ability to explore all of the live challenges that are currently being run as part of the NOW Accelerator program. You can scroll through, find the challenge that we've been discussing today, which is advancing floating offshore wind mooring and dynamic cable infrastructure for sustainable wind development. You have the ability to click into the challenge, and this is really where you can learn more about how to get involved in the challenge. When you click in, you also have an overview of the process through which all of your solutions will flow through before winners will be announced at Floating Wind Days. Scrolling down, you can view the challenge overview section, which really just provides you with a comprehensive overview of all of the information that you will need in order to be able to contribute to this challenge. So this includes the problem background, solution requirements, and these have been quite nicely split into nice to have and must have criteria, as well as how your solutions will be assessed and some of that evaluation criteria that Helge mentioned earlier as well. Now, what you'll also know is that in order to add an idea to this challenge, you must be registered as a community member and you also must be logged in. So in order to do this, there are two ways. You can either use the button in the top right in the banner or the login or register button within the challenge in itself. Once you click into this, you'll be directed to sign in or to create a new account. And I want to show you exactly how you can do that today. So scrolling down, you will be able to register for a new account. And when you click to register a new account, you'll be prompted with an opportunity to choose which type of profile that you want to create, either as personal or a company. Now, the main difference between the two of these accounts is that a personal account means that you can start collaborating as an individual, not tied to any company or startup. And a company account means that you can add a company entity to your profile and you'll be prompted to add some of your company information to there as well. Once you pass this stage, please just include all of the information that is required in the form that will be displayed, and then you will have a profile set up. So just switching gears, I then want to just show you the view of what you can expect once you are logged in and registered on the account. So I believe it's this one. Perfect. Okay. So the main difference once you have logged in, the button will display stating add a solution. And when you click into add a solution in the challenge, a form will be displayed. The form contains a number of different fields, some of which are required and some are optional, that you can fill in to give the Seaway7 team more information about the solution that you are proposing to this particular challenge as well. In addition, you have the ability on the right-hand side to scroll through and be reminded of the solution requirements and the problem background. Once you have filled in all of the form, especially the required fields, because you won't be able to publish without submitting the required fields, you simply click Publish Solution, and this will be visible to the organising team and Seaway7 for review. Okay, So that is how you can publish your solution. So as I said, I've included the link to the community page in the platform, in the chat, sorry. So you can go ahead and register. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we'd be more than happy to support you in that. So that's all from me. Over to you, Narvi.
Thank you, Rosalind. And I think there will be also a possibility to request or come with some questions into the platform as well.
Yes.
So there's going to be a form, right? That is going to be connected.
Yes, so there'll be a form that will be included in the challenge description, and any questions that will be asked within that form will be published within the challenge so that all solvers will have visibility of some of the frequently asked questions, and these will be updated on a periodical basis throughout the course of the challenge as well. So please do keep an eye on the frequently asked questions within the challenge.
Exactly. So the process now will be, after this video meeting, we will put it out on YouTube and send you the link, so you will have the video if you want to see this over again. You will get the information or the link to the platform, so you will see all the information about the challenge, and you also have the possibility of sending in questions if that is needed. When it comes to the deadlines, I believe we set the deadline to 13th of May. That's the last day you can actually send in your pitch and your solution. So that's an important date to make sure that you get onboarded into this challenge. Apart from that, we're going to go quite quickly to review and give you feedback, because obviously we would love to see you participating in the Floating Wind Days event, the 29th and 30th of May in Haugesund. So that is our main goal, to be able to facilitate and see your pitch in Haugesund, the 29th and 30th of May. I think with that, I would love to leave it a little bit open for any questions that might be about the challenge. So if any of you have any questions, you can basically just raise the hand on the top here, and we will see who is daring to come with some tough questions. I see Anders is already up there. Hi, Anders. Thanks
Hi.
for joining us. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for being invited. I have a question regarding, like, what is, if we fast forward a bit, how, like, what can we expect in terms of collaboration, support, etc.? How do you foresee that happening, and what's the time frame of actually having something real happening?
That's a very good question. Obviously, a very hard question to answer. But first of all, from my side, I would love to hear what you want to say about that as well, Helge. But for our side, we are basically trying to just facilitate. The key element here is that this is a very important problem that they want to solve. Depending on where you are at with a potential solution, obviously, they will put a lot more resources if they see this is a huge potential. And obviously, they will also, announce a winner that they really believe in. So with that said, you will have the access to work a little bit with that team and being able to see if you could set up a potential test pilot depending on where you are at with your business. And from our side, when it comes to the Accelerator program, as a winner of this challenge, we will promote you with all the connections that we will have as one of the most important companies that has provided a real good solution for our industry partner. So I think you'll get a lot of attention, you'll get a lot of marketing, and I think you'll get a lot more access to others as well if for some reason Seaway7 is not really doing their job, which I do think they will do. But Helge, do you want to say something about that question?
No, I think you covered it well. I mean, as a part of what you said, and I think it's all about finding the win-win, where we see great ideas or great products, and then finding the opportunities together on how to take that to the market, depending on what it is, whether it needs to go via some demonstrator or whether it's deployable in one of our projects. We have a lot of contact with various clients around the world, and so it's more finding the win-win, and it's very dependent on what type of product or solution it is. So I wouldn't promise too much or promise any big investments or anything, but it's more about finding the good solutions, and I think finding the right partners to collaborate to bring it to the market with a common goal of actually making floating wind projects happen and take the cost and simplicity down to where it needs to be to actually pass final investment decisions. Because to be fair, all the floating wind projects that are commercial scale today, none of them have passed the final investment decision yet because the costs are too high. So it's sort of that branch issue that we need to tackle together to make the industry possible.
Yeah, but I think apart from that, just getting the validation that the solution or direction you're taking can give you, I think, a lot of opportunities on if there's investment funding necessity for your company. I think that will definitely be easier once you get through the needle of the haystack with a company like this. So, but again, I don't know where you're at, Anders, with the company, but really appreciate a good question. And obviously, we want this to be a good use case. We want you guys to succeed. So for me and for Norwegian Offshore Wind, this is a very important factor that you can see that there comes out really good use cases here. And we want to build on those use cases and talk about it and make sure that we can help you further if for some reason it stops. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting ride.
Very good. Thanks.
Did we answer?
Yeah, you did. Yeah? Very good answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anders. Jon, I can see your hands up. It's on mute, Jon.
Okay. John Liang here from Deep Sea Anchors in Trondheim. I was wondering if you come up with a good solution that may be patentable. You don't really want to present it at the floating wind days. It's kind of a short interval between the deadline and the offshore wind. So how do you take care of that?
That is a very good question. It's always a hurdle once there's something that is not registered as a patent, and all about NDAs and possibilities. Since we're quite early stage on doing this, we are open to discuss what needs to be done in order to make sure that you can actually present this. And obviously, if it's going to be on a stage and you're afraid that the others, then there's a small problem there. But why don't we just evaluate that as it comes? And like I said, John, we're very open to see if there's other ways to do it. If you feel that it's too risky, let us know when it comes to being part of the challenge, and then obviously would either way find a way that you can present to them, but maybe on the outside. But then you need to have the NDA and those kind of things in order, I believe. Yeah.
Excuse me. During the process of delivering the solution, is it also held non-public, so that no one else can go in there and see other solutions during that process of evaluation? That's also
Rosalind, do you want to say a little bit about that side?
Yes. So all solutions that will be added into the platform will only be seen by the organizing team, which will be Helge, and also those who are supporting with the administration. So at maximum, 3 people can see your solution at once. Of course, you'll be able to see your own solution, but no other solvers or community members will be able to view your solution.
Okay. Thank you.
And regarding presentation, I mean, I think that is solvable as well during that event on floating wind days. I guess we can shape it a bit as we want. We don't have to reveal too much of the solution. Of course, we need to provide some justification on why we selected that specific one and some ideas on what it's about. But if it's something we can't reveal in public, I think we can work around that. And you know, as I said, it's finding the win-win. It's not stealing good ideas from startups. We want to you know, treat everyone fair and just help bringing the good solutions to the market.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. I cannot see any other hands up. Is there other questions? Everything was very clear.
I think we had one question within the chat from Paul. Maybe I can just read it out.
Yeah.
Design analysis and simulation software for mooring and cables were not in the list. Does that mean you are not looking for improvements in simulation software? So perhaps that's for you, Helge.
I think that would fit in the challenge as well. Yes, for sure. If someone has a good piece of software, that's part of the solution that could optimize the mooring and cable systems, then yes, that's relevant.
Great. So we can add some of these questions that we've answered today within the frequently asked questions section as well, just to make it clear for the rest of the solvers who maybe weren't on the call today as well.
Very good. Well, I think with that, we will leave off today, but I will make sure that you all get the information, you get the video that is recorded today, and hopefully I've done it right, so we'll see. but thank you all for participating on such a short notice. You will definitely get the link to the platform and with all the information, and we really hope that you have the possibility of joining this challenge. And we hope to see you all as well in Haugesund, 29th and 30th. That would be great. There will be three nominated into the final, which will be presenting the 29th, and then a selected winner for the 30th going up on stage. So that's the plan. And hopefully you can be part of that. So thank you all for participating, and you will hear from us. Have a great Friday and very nice weekend when that comes.